Hey, Coach, start with, signing day, recruiting period. What did you need in this class? Just overall, how did you feel you did? And did the fact that kids have an extra year now this year doesn't count against eligibility, has that changed recruiting any?
We basically got commitments from these two guys before all that was finalized. But no, I mean, these are the two best guards in Ohio. And we're going to need guards. Our guards, when you look, we're going to lose Taz, we're going to lose Sean, we're going to lose Jordan all in the same year. So we need some people that are ready to step in and play.
Ethan Bach.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're doing well. This is a two-part. It deals with Senny. How has Senny looked so far in practice, and what's your plan with him? Are you planning to redshirt him, or is he going to get some minutes in?
Well, the original idea was to put him in Beckley prep and let him get another year of prep. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, we just redshirt him and he'll get a lot more playing against Derek and Oscar and Isaiah than he will playing against some 6'3" guy. Not to knock Beckley prep, but I mean they just don't have 6'10" guys to run around down there. So we decided to bring him in here so that he could play against those guys every day, and he's gotten better and better and better. And I think when you take a look at what could happen, this year's a free year. I mean, we could conceivably redshirt him next year, providing that Derek and Oscar are still around. And, then he's still got 4 more. So he could be a 6-year guy, probably the first in college basketball history.
Ethan, did you have a follow-up or?
No, that was it. Thank you, Coach.
We'll go to Michael from WMOV.
How is preparation going for Texas A&M, and what have you seen on film from them?
Well, when we found out the first time, we've had 2 or 3 different brackets or more over the course of this deal. When we first found out about it, we obviously got some A&M tape, and Buzz does a great job. They got better and better as last year went on. His first year with those guys, and played really well at the end of the year. And that it's a typical Buzz Williams team. They're very efficient offensively, and they're going to play multiple defenses, but they play them all pretty well.
John Antonik.
Hey, getting back to these 2 guys that you got from Ohio, what is it about Ohio guards that you like? Are they well coached? Are they tough? Do you like the recommendations you're getting? Why have you had so much success with them in the past?
Well, John, as you know, I mean, my dad is a legend in Ohio coaching, and my dad had that camp for he probably had it for 30 years. So virtually the majority of the coaches went through there in one form or fashion, either bringing their teams there or coming in and speaking or just coming in and hanging out with my dad. So I know all those guys, and then the younger guys, the guys that are coaching now, the vast majority of them went to camp there at least once, and a lot of those guys like multiple times. And actually, the coach Ken McKinley went to camp there. Jeff Boltz, who's at Ohio University, started coming to camp when he was probably about 9 years old, and came every year. So I mean, I know everybody. I know everybody through the camp, and then when my dad sold it to my brother, obviously my brother keeps me informed of what's going on, and so forth and so on. So I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of wired in there, so why not take advantage of it?
I know you mentioned in the past, particularly when it comes with Deuce, a lot of these guys come from programs where they're really well coached and they've got a little bit maybe a head up on some other guys. You feel that's accurate?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. Ohio high school basketball is terrific, and the guy who's coaching at Canton McKinley now coached Derek for 3 years.
Okay.
And, you know, I knew Andy from back before, and then Andy having coached Derek for 3 years and watching Derek grow through the program here obviously helped. Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter, I guess, John, it's a matter of familiarity. I mean, not to say anything the wrong way, but Ohio basketball coaches are way more familiar with my family
Gotcha.
than they are any other coach in America. So, you know, it's just why wouldn't you take advantage of that?
Yeah, last thing here, it's opinions that you trust, I guess, too, right? When people say something, that guy's good, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, most people know the family, you know, be it my dad, my brother haven't played at Ohio State or been through the camp or had a relative go through the camp or whatever. So, yeah, there's a lot of years there, you know. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of years there. And then the Ohio guys that we've had here have done really well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Chris Anderson.
Coach, are you done recruiting for 2021? If not, how do you approach the rest of the class given the kind of uncertainty about eligibility with guys and whether they're coming back or not?
If you can find us a few more scholarships, we'll try to go recruit some more. But we're out of scholarships. These were our last 2 scholarships, and you know, with the rule that basically it's Taz and Gabe could come back if they want to, you know, and that's up in the air. I think that depends on what kind of other opportunities there are for them out there to go make money playing basketball. So, yeah, we're done. I mean, you're never done recruiting. I mean, we're still recruiting underclassmen. You know, if we weren't, we wouldn't be able to get anybody.
Follow up on that. In football, I know there have been some discussion about potentially raising the total scholarship limit above the 85. Has there been any discussion that you've heard of for basketball, like a temporary raise?
No, just giving the guys another year. You know, it's crazy. We went through a period in football and basketball where we were decreasing scholarships. You know, and now people, I haven't heard of any. I'm not on the football side, obviously, but I haven't heard. There's nothing on our side about adding scholarships.
Greg Hunter.
Bob, the minimum number of players you're going to need to play for a game, Mike Carey was just saying it's 7, but on the men's side there could be an issue of if walk-ons count in that number. So what do you understand, where your feelings about how that's going to work?
Well, you can trust me, our walk-ons won't get in. That's not going to happen. They're not going to be. They won't be countable. Trust me. Why? I mean, pretty much what, you know, the women have, they kind of go the way that we go, and we've had extensive conversations both at the NABC board level and within our conference. And, you know, the number that was bannered around for quite a while was 8. And then it came down to what's the minimum, you know, that you can use. And that, of course, has to do with the pandemic and also, John, I tell you how crazy it is. I'm on the rules committee, which and I didn't know, and most of the people on the rules committee didn't know, you can't finish the game with one official. So we're all talking about, do we have enough guys to play? I mean, who's going to officiate? If two guys come in and maybe they ride together, now, maybe one guy tests positive, the other guy's with him. That's contact tracing, so he's out. You can't start a game with one official. Can't end a game with one official. Now we're trying to amend the rule to where conceivably you could finish the game. It's kind of like the first thing, John, was let's just halt the game, then we'll come back and finish it. I'm like, wait a minute. We flew 1,700 miles to Lubbock, 1,700. Then we're going to turn around and fly 1,700 miles back. And then you all are going to say, oh, by the way, you finished the game on Thursday. We're going to fly 1,700 miles back and then 1,700 miles back again. I don't think that's going to happen. So it's been crazy. I mean, there's been things thought about that has never ever before ever been thought about, brought up, whatever.
Michael,
how has the competition been in practice so far? And is there anybody that stood out as being particularly dominant in the scrimmages?
We've only scrimmaged once, so no. I mean, I think the person who dominates practice is Derek. I mean, Derek's team generally wins all the time, and Derek gets the majority of the rebounds, and they look to throw it inside to Derek quite a bit, particularly when it's a close situation in practice. But practice has been, this very well could end up being a special group in that they really like each other. They hang out together. They're very close friends, but they're also extremely competitive against each other. And they're smart enough to know. I mean, they're looking around. There's like, wait a minute, man. There's 13 guys out here, and only 5 are going to play. They understand that, and they understand that they're going to have to compete their butts off against the other guy or the other couple guys at their position to be able to get any time.
Justin Jackson.
Hey, Coach, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Justin.
Good, wonderful. Hey, kind of going off what you were just saying there a few seconds ago about the things you guys are having to think about that you never had to think about before. Certainly that rings pretty true in the season, like you guys are getting ready to start. Kind of along those lines, you can't really play college basketball in a bubble like like the NBA did, and these are young men, young kids you're talking about that have to go out and live their lives and stuff. Just kind of talk about things that you've discussed with them as far as staying safe and concerns that you have with players when they're not in practice and that sort of thing.
Well, I think the message has been more than ever. You're going to have to be very careful of what happens away from here.
Yeah.
You're going to be fine here. You don't know. You go shake hands with somebody who's a good guy who you've known, and all of a sudden 2 days later, you find out he's got the virus, and now all of a sudden through contact tracing, you're at best you're 14 days in quarantine. Well, 14 days is 2 weeks. That's missing 2 weeks of practice, and it certainly puts you behind. So they understand that. I mean, Justin, believe it or not, I mean, these are pretty bright guys. I don't know how I ended up with them, but they are pretty bright guys, and they understand, and they're doing their best to help each other. I mean, I'm sure before the season's over with, something will happen, but they're doing their best to make sure that it doesn't.
And then sort of a follow-up here. I mean, obviously, you got a schedule laid out now, and a lot of work went into that. But is it difficult or maybe naive might be the word to think that all of those games are going to be played?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
there's a lot at stake, you know. I think six of our first, is it six? It's either 5 or 6 of our first 6 or 7 games are on national television. They're on ESPN, which is a great source of revenue. You know, where things are divided at the end by all the money that comes in from all the people being on television, and certainly we'll get our fair share because we're going to be on television a lot, and that's quite a bit of money.
Cody Nesper.
Hi, Coach. I just wanted to ask who you think you like at the 2 guard this season. Obviously, Chase and Jermaine graduated, and they ate up a lot of the minutes there last year.
Well, Sean's played really well. Sean's played exceptionally well. Taz has played exceptionally well. I mean, I think there's a lot of guys. We could conceivably play Deuce there if we play Jordan and Deuce together. I think that's a position where we feel pretty secure at.
John Antonic.
Just curious. I know some of your really good teams. When you defended, you have a primary defense, but you've had a secondary defense and maybe an extra defense. Is that something you're exploring with this year's team, trying to find some other things that they can do to maybe throw teams off and disrupt them a little bit?
Well, John, if I told you that, then Buzz would know.
Well, what about
I want to trick Buzz, you know. I don't want Buzz sneaking up on us. No, I mean, I think we've always done that. You know, we got a lot of notoriety for bringing out the 1-3-1 and letting Deshaun coach it. And then, you know, we played a lot of matchup. We played a lot of matchup before that. The matchup that we played the year we lost to Xavier in overtime in the Sweet 16 was very effective. And it's all personnel, you know. Some guys. Deshaun and crew were terrific because they had a great understanding. You know, they had a great Kevin Jones had a great understanding how to play, and that so you can do more things with those guys who conceptualize the game better than most. And you know, I yet to figure out how many or which of our guys are able to do that.
Whatever it is you do, having extra looks is important to you, right?
Yeah, but we're going to get extra looks because we're going to lead the country in rebounding. That's
when I mean extra looks, I mean giving teams different defensive looks.
A different look. Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, I mean we've always done that.
Yeah.
Greg Hunter.
Bob, I know that Jordan has talked about improving his shooting, improving his turnover to assist ratio from last season. What have you seen out of Jordan so far?
Well, I mean, in all honesty, Jordan shot it poorly for Jordan last year, and did a great job this summer. I mean, he sent me videos of his shot to try to talk him through, you know, some of the things that I thought that would help him. He had a workout guy that his father knew that I kind of get a little bit leery of those guys sometimes, but he did a terrific job. He did a terrific job, and then he would call me and I'd kind of talk him through some of the things that I thought that would help Jordan. But he's shooting the ball really well. He's just not shooting it a lot, you know, but he's shooting it really well. When you got Taz on a wing and you got Sean on a wing, I mean, you probably ought to throw it to them because they're really making shots. But I think Jordan shot it very well. He's going to work on what he needs to work on. I think that's the thing. And he's, you know, his understanding and I mean this in the right way. Jordan was a point guard in high school in name only. You know, he had to score. He had to score for his team to win. He had to have the ball all the time for his team to win. And you know, then as you continue to move up the basketball ladder, so to speak, you've got to do more than that, and you're asked to do more than that. And then all of a sudden, you walk into a situation. You're like, wow, these guys are good, you know. And the smart guys figure out, what can I do to help this team? And certainly Jordan's a smart guy, so he's trying to figure out how he can help our team the most, because that translates into more minutes.
John, you'll have the final question if no one else has a question for Coach.
Yeah, one last one here. I don't know. Sometimes people pass along articles to you. I don't know if you happen to catch the CBS Sports listed their top 100 players. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see that.
Well, I counted 22 of the guys that they put on that list that they think are going to be the top 100 players this year you're facing. And a lot of them are in the Big 12. And I think you had 3 players on that list. My question is that, I guess, what you're expecting from the Big 12 this year? Could this be the best year maybe ever in the Big 12 as far as teams that could make runs?
I mean, from everything that I gather, and most people have a sports information director who passed those kind of things along. So, you know, I'm kind of in the dark here because I did pass along, but you know,
mess.
Well, you set it up, John. I mean, I don't know if it's the best the league's ever been, but it's certainly up there. You look at some of the things that I have seen that I've found on my own, John, are, you know, Kansas has been number 1 in some people's minds. Baylor has been number 1 in some people's minds. I think we've been, from the little bit that I've seen, we've been somewhere, you know, right around, we kind of stayed around 3. Mm-hmm. We kind of stayed behind those 2 people. I don't want to stay behind anybody.
And when you look at, like, Oklahoma, I mean, they're always kind of sitting in the weeds there. And, you know, Lon is – he's a guy that, you know.
Well, the sneaky thing about Lon, he's had really good players. Yeah. He's a terrific coach. I mean, he really is. He's and I've said it, you know that 1,000 times. I mean, the coaching in the Big 12 is, I mean, better than any league I've ever been in. You know, I sit there and I look around the table, and 6 of the guys coached in the Final Four. I've never seen or heard of a league where 60% of the coaches have coached in the Final Four.
I've never seen a guy from Oklahoma State play, but they say the kid at Oklahoma State may be the best player in the country that they recruited. I don't know.
Well, people are saying that. I mean, yeah. You know, people are saying that. He may well be, but he's going to have a lot of competition in our league. Yeah. And you know, you were saying Lon. I think Lon kind of sneaks up on people. Lon recruits really good players now. Mm-hmm. He's had how many top 5 picks? Yeah. So I mean, he recruits better players, I think, than what he kind of. He's not one of those guys that runs around and brags about it.